May 7th, 1942. 11:13 a.m., 300 miles south of the Solomon Islands. Japanese Admiral Takeo Takagi and American Admiral Frank Jack Fletcher are just 175 miles apart. Both command massive aircraft carriers. Both are desperately searching for the enemy. Both have orders to destroy the opposing fleet. But here's the twist. Neither man will ever see the other ships. Over the next 2 days, for the first time in 4,000 years of naval warfare, two fleets will fight to the death without ever laying eyes on each other, and in doing so, they will change naval warfare forever. If you enjoy deep, real-world War II stories like this, hit the like button now. It helps this channel reach more people who love history as much as you do. May 1942. Japan was winning the war. Pearl Harbor, the Philippines, Singapore, the Dutch East Indies, Burma, in just 5 months. The Empire of Japan had conquered territory larger than the continental United States. But Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto had a strategic problem. Australia. As long as Australia remained free and allied, the United States would have a massive base to strike back from. Japan's solution was Operation Mo, a plan to seize Port Moresby in New Guinea, placing Japanese air power just 300 miles from Australia's coast. From there, Japan could bomb northern Australia and dominate the Coral Sea. To execute the plan, Japan deployed an imposing force. The fleet carriers Shikaku and Zuikaku, veterans of Pearl Harbor, the light carrier Shoho, and a powerful escort of cruisers, destroyers, and invasion transports. Commanding them was Vice Admiral Takeo Takagi, cautious, disciplined, and undefeated. The American side was far more fragile. Rear Admiral Frank Jack Fletcher commanded just 2 carriers, USS Lexington and USS Yorktown. Lexington was enormous, originally designed as a battlecruiser, later converted into a carrier. Her hangar was so massive, the crew played baseball inside it. Fletcher was known for being careful. Some said too careful, but he had one advantage Takagi didn't. Codebreakers. The Americans knew the Japanese were coming. They knew about Port Moresby. They knew carriers were involved. They just didn't know where, okay? And that uncertainty would lead to the most expensive mistakes of the Pacific War so far. May 4th, the battle begins, okay? Aircraft from Yorktown attacked Japanese ships at Talagi, a tiny island in the Solomons. 76 planes, 3 attack waves. Day sank a destroyer, a mine layer, and several patrol boats. Fletcher reported a great victory. In reality, it was a costly mistake. They used hundreds of bombs and torpedoes on minor targets. Worse, they revealed their position. Now, Takagi knew American carriers were in the Coral Sea. The hunt was on. May 7th. Dawn. Both sides launched reconnaissance aircraft, SBD, dauntless dive bombers for the Americans, float planes for the Japanese. 8:15 a.m., an American scout radioed in, excited. 2 carriers. 4 heavy cruisers. Fletcher launched everything he had, 93 aircraft, nearly his entire strike force. An hour later, they reached the coordinates. It wasn't carriers, it was a destroyer and an oiler. Single coding error turned 2 cruisers into 2 carriers. Fuel wasted, position exposed, strike force committed for nothing. Things smoke on the horizon. Not the main fleet, but Shoho, the light carrier, guarding the invasion force. At 11 a.m., 93 American aircraft attacked a single Japanese carrier. It was annihilation. 13 bombs, 7 torpedoes. 10 minutes, Shoho was burning, sinking, and doomed. Lieutenant Commander Robert Dixon sent a message that became legendary. Scratch One Flattop. Quick pause. If this story surprised you so far, drop a comment below. I'd love to know what moment hit you the hardest. At the same time, the Japanese made the same mistake. Japanese scout misidentified American ships. Kagi launched an immediate strike. They found and sank USS Neosho and USS Sims. Hundreds of sailors died. but again, no carriers. By nightfall on May 7th, both sides had struck the wrong targets, burned precious resources, and still hadn't found each other's main fleets. But they were closing fast. Tomorrow, there would be no mistakes. May 8th, 1942, 8:38 a.m. This time, the reports were correct. Both admirals made the same decision within the same minute. Total attack. At 9:15, 121 Japanese aircraft launched south, a T-2 American aircraft launched north. The two strike forces passed each other mid-air. Pilots waved as they crossed, knowing that in 1 hour, many of them would be dead. This was a new kind of war. No ships in sight. No gun duels, just aircraft and death from the sky. 10:57 a.m., Japanese planes find the Americans. Yorktown maneuvered violently, evading attack. She took one bomb, 66 men died. Kali Simpson wasn't as lucky. 4 torpedoes, torpedoes, multiple bomb hits, severe fires. Yet, American damage control was extraordinary. Within 30 minutes, Lady Lex was steaming at full speed again, launching aircraft. It looked like she would survive. Then the Americans struck back. Sokaku and Zuikaku were separated, a fatal mistake. American pilots focused everything on Sokaku. Torpedo planes were slotted, but they pulled Japanese fighters down low. Dive bombers came from above. 3,000-pound bombs tore into Shokaku's flight deck. She survived, but was crippled and forced to withdraw. Zuikaku vanished into a rainstorm, untouched. Victory and disaster. By early afternoon, Fletcher had won tactically. Then 12:47 p.m., a spark ignited aviation fuel vapors inside Lexington. Explosion. Then another. Then another. By evening, the ship was lost. At 7:52 p.m., an American destroyer scuttled Lexington to prevent capture. She vanished in a fireball visible for miles. But the war had changed. Kagi had sunk a carrier, but lost his invasion. Port Moresby was saved. Australia was safe. Japan had retreated for the first time since Pearl Harbor. And 1 month later, Midway, Shokaku and Zuikaku weren't there. Yorktown was. The Battle of the Coral Sea was technically a draw. Strategically, it was the beginning of the end for Japan. If you value deeply researched World War II stories like this, subscribe now. This channel is dedicated to the moments that changed history, one battle at a time. This was the Battle of the Coral Sea, the battle where no one saw the enemy, but everyone felt the impact. And warfare was never the same again.